Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through one of the missions in Aeon's End, A New Age. And I'm going to be taking on Morgoth, and I'm going to see if I have what it takes to bring him down. And he's a nasty, nasty boss, as he is going to be able to bring out maggots and flies among all the other things that he's going to be doing. And he's got his own special nest board that he's going to keep track of all of those on there. And as he moves or adds those different enemies to there, it's going to trigger different effects, such as doing damage to Gravehold, turning some of the maggots into flies, and all kinds of other nasty things. So we'll see if our Breach Mages can handle this threat and save Gravehold from another enemy, or if Gravehold is destined to fall. So in this is from Indie Boards and Cards. It is a 1 to 4 player game. It takes roughly an hour to 2 hours to play. And it's a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to accomplish the mission they've chosen to go on. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see anything else around this. I am looking at making another video for one of the other Aeon's Ends that they added, an expansion pack, Future and Past. And with that one, I have to use either this one or Outcast with it. So that's kind of why I'm brushing up on my Aeon's Ends abilities, as I'm going to be showing that one off as well and explaining how that one works. So if you'd like to have anything else with this coverage, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and be able to produce this content. If you want to get notified anytime I drop new videos, also give that notification bell a ring, and that'll let you know whenever I drop new stuff. So let's go ahead into the table, and we'll see how this one plays. Alright, so I have everything set up here. The last thing I have to do is shuffle up the turn order deck, and right now with the turn order deck I have 2 Nemesis cards in there, 2 cards for my first Breach Mage, and 2 for my second. And I've gone ahead and chosen to use Claudia and Takron as my 2 Breach Mages, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, other than that, with Takron, he's got a special breach. So with his breach, when I get it open, when I cast a spell out of it, it's going to heal Gravehold 1 point instead of doing that extra point of damage that normal 3 and 4 breaches do. So he's an interesting character. Alright, so let's see what our cards are going to have us doing, and it's a Nemesis right out of the gate. Alright, so there aren't any cards to handle, so the second thing in the Nemesis step is going to be drawing and resolving a card. So I have Unnerving Howl. This is going to have me placing 2 power tokens on it. And if this one, or when this one goes off, it's going to cause an Unleash, and any player is going to have to discard 2 gems in hand. So hopefully that'll be next round at this point, as there's only 1 more card in there for the Nemesis. Well, that was okay. So Nemesis is firing on all cylinders right out of the gate. All right, second card is to discard 3 cards in hand. And this is a power 1, so it's going to go off next round for sure, as he's already used both of his cards this round. And it's going to have place a maggot into play and then place 2 flies into play. So that, I really don't like that at all. So potentially getting rid of that would be pretty good. Alright, so now it's into our player turns, and it's player 2 to start us off. So Takron is going to go ahead and begin. I have 4 crystals, and I have the Gift of the Spirit. So I'm going to go ahead and place that on that breach to get ready to cast that next round. And for buying power, I am going to go ahead and get the Recurring Jasper. And I'm going to go ahead and place that on the bottom, and then the rest of those are on top, and then I draw my 5 cards. So that's the end of his turn. On to, well, he gets to go again. So right away, the first thing is to cast the spell, so I can either deal a damage or any ally draws a card. I think I'm going to just go ahead and do the damage and take out one of the maggots. All right. So that'll go in my discard, and then I have 4 more and a spark. So I'm going to go ahead and place the spark in there. And I think I'm just going to use 3 of them to buy the Galvanized Babel. And place that in there, and then I'll place the rest on top. Those get flipped over, and I draw 5 cards. All right, and then all that we have left is player 1 to go twice. So player 1, first thing, she has this one, which lets her either gain an ether, or she can choose an ally may lose 1 charge. If they do, I gain 2 charges. So I kind of duplicate it, but my other player does not have any yet. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and spend all 5 to pick up this energized rudidium. And this one lets me gain 3 ether, and then any ally may discard a card in hand. If they do, that player gains a charge. All right, and then I get to draw my new 5, which it's going to be her turn again. So at this point, I am going to, let's see, in order to use the spark, I would have to rotate a breach. That one's going to require 2. I need 3 cards to be able to handle that source. So I'm going to go ahead and discard the spark and 2 of these. And then I'm going to use 2 to open this, or rotate the breach, or focus it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll reset my hands. And then I did go ahead and discard cards for this. So this one is going to be gone, as I really didn't want that to go off. All right, so then it's back over to mixing these up. All right. Player 1 again, so no breaches or no spells to cast. And I'm back with my stuff again. I am going to go ahead and spend all of them to pick up this Endowed Smash. This one lets me deal 4 damage, and then I may discard a card in hand, and if you do, you deal 2 damage to the nemesis. Effects that modify damage affect both instances of damage. So that can be really good. If I can get that into a 3 or 4 breach, that's going to deal additional damage on both of those. So I bump it up to 5 damage and 3 damage if I discard a card. So that could be really powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll be ready next time for some stuff. Player 2. All right, so I do have a spell that I can cast. And I can either take out the maggot, or I could do 1 damage there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take out the maggot. Clear that up. And then I do have the recurring Jasper. So top card of your discard pile is a spell. You may place this gem on top of your deck. So that's good. And that gives me 2 and 6 total. But I do need some spells. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and this one. And I'll place these on top like that. And then when choosing the discard, that is the top card. So I'm going to be able to place that right back on top of my deck. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so next turn looks good. And I get to go again. All right, so back to me. I have that again, so it's still going to give me 2. I'm going to be able to place that in the breach. So right now I have a total of 4, and then I can focus an ally's breach or cast any player's prepped spell. You may destroy it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use that right away to focus this one. Lets me open it up right away, as if I focus one that's already maxed out, it just opens it. So that'll help that player out. And then I do have 4 for buying. Actually, I will spend that 4 to rotate this. And since I focused, I can place a spell in there. I'll go ahead and place that spell in there instead. Okay, so then I have 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want those to be like that. All right, so I have a couple spells next turn, so hopefully that'll work out. And it's a nemesis to go off. So first off, that's going to tick down and be resolved. So this one's going to have me unleash. And then any player discards 2 gems in hand. Alright, so unleashing is going to have me placing 2 maggots. And who could do that? I could do it there. And what does she have? 1, 2, 3. So she's going to have 6 buying power. I don't know if I want to do it with her. I'm going to go ahead and take it with him. So he's going to drop 2 gems from hands. And that's been resolved. Now a new card. Killeroid Colony. So immediately this minion suffers damage equal to the number of players in the game. So there's 2 of us. So he's going to take 2 damage. And his persistent effect is to unleash. So we don't want him sitting out there too terribly long if we can do anything about it. All right, player 1 is going to be next to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and place that spark in there. Now that that's opened, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get this one. And that leaves me with 2. I'm going to go ahead and buy a charge. And any ally may discard a card in hand. If they do, that player gains a charge. The question is, do I have one that I'd like to discard? Basically, I could buy one with that. So I think I will drop that in there. And that'll give me a charge. All right. And the Nemesis is the last to go. Now I got to draw my hand of cards before I do that. All right, there we go. All right, so Nemesis first is going to fire that off, so he's going to do his unleash. So that's 2 more in there. And that's it. So then that's a card. So place a fly into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. So it converts one of these over to a fly. Somebody's going to take 3 damage. I guess she'll take it. All right, that takes care of that. So then we're going to shuffle this up. All right. Player 1. All right, so I do have a spark that's in the 4, so it's going to do 2 damage. Well, I really don't want this guy to continue to fire off, so I'm going to go ahead and try to start working on him. And then I do have 5 buying power. Or I can do 4 buying power and 1 there. I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to buy one of these. And then I'll spend 2 to focus that breach. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so next time I can start ramping up some spells. All right, so Nemesis next. So again, he's going to add 2. One of them turns into a fly from the effects, and Gravehold's going to suffer 2 damage. So Gravehold is down to 28. Okay, and then a new card. So we have to discard, spend 6, and it's 3 charges. And this is going to have us placing 3 maggots into play, and then any player suffers 3 damage. All right, next is player 2. All right, so player 2 does have the deal 1 damage or an ally draws a card. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and deal the 1 damage to the maggot in that space. And this is going to trigger because it was... Oh, no, once opened, so it doesn't trigger that yet. All right. And then what do I have left? So I have this, which has to go in here because that breach has not been opened yet. Then I have 2, or I can destroy it for 3. I don't want to destroy it. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus here. And that'll take care of that. And then I'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's see who's next. All right, player 1. All right, player 1. What are we going to do here? So you've got 2 spells. So I definitely want that one in there. And then I've got a total of 5 purchasing power. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one here to focus that breach. And then I'll place that spell in there. And then I have 2 remaining, which I'm going to go ahead and just buy a charge with. All right. So back to player 2. So this is going to go off and deal 2 damage. And it was not cast from the other ones, so I'm going to keep working on this guy. Or wait. No, I don't think so. I don't think, because I'll be able to pop it with that. Well, either way, I'm going to be kind of wasting a little bit there, but all right. So I'm going to go ahead and do my first couple damage to the Nemesis instead. All right, and then I can focus a breach. Or I can cast any player's prep spell. So I think I'll do that instead. So I'm going to go ahead and use that on... Go ahead and use it on this one here. So this is going to go off. This is going to deal 3 damage. And if this was cast from an opened 3 or 4 breach, deal an additional damage. Oh man, it was not. So I don't want to do that. I want to do this one instead. So this is going to deal 4 damage. And you may discard a card in your hands to deal 2 damage to the Nemesis. I would assume it would be me since I'm the one that's casting, so I'll go ahead and trigger that. So that's going to deal 3 damage to him because of the +1 here. And I'm doing 5 damage there. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this guy out so that he's not hitting us continually with that. All right. Oop. Shouldn't have flipped over. All right, so that takes care of that one there. I still had 3. Go ahead and focus this breach here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lots of buying power. All right, and then the Nemesis is going to go. So first off, that's going to tick off. And then we have to discard, spend 5, power 2. It's going to cause an unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage. Any player discards a card in hand. All right, so plenty of fun stuff. All right, Nemesis. So both of these tick down 1. And we have any player discards 3 cards in hand and suffers 2 damage. All right, so 3 cards in hands. I have 6 buying power, so I would prefer it not to be me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so she can take it. So she's going to drop 3, and she suffers 2 damage. So I'll have to really have to start working on trying to heal her. And that's it for that. So I knew it. Ugh. All right, so let's handle this one first. So this one has me place 3 maggots into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. And I'll take 3 with him. All right, and this one is an unleash, so it is going to trigger this. It's going to have me hatching 2 flies. So those flip over, and then Gravehold suffers 2. From the unleash, and then any player suffers 3 damage. Okay, I took that. And then they discard a card in hand. Okay. All right. And then card. So this one is 7 to discard. Power 2. Unleash. The player with the least or the lowest life suffers 4 damage. Well, that was rough. All right, player 1. All right, it's over to player 1. I have 1 spell. So it's going to do 3 damage. And I'm going to go ahead and hit him. So he's going to be down to 37. Okay. And I have 2 cards, so that, and then there's nothing I can do here. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, player 1 again. So I got 2 more damage that I can hit him with. So just keep working on him, I guess, at this point. All right, and then she's got, the rest of this is all buying power. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she's got 7. She's going to go ahead and trigger that first. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice a charge to give her 2. And that gives her 7 buying power. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger that with this one. This is any ally may discard a card in hand. If they do, that player gains a charge. So it basically just gives him an extra point to spend, but that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and focus that, and I'm going to buy another one of these. All right. I think that is all I want to do. All right. And then it is over to player 2. I have nothing to cast, and I have 4 buying power. I'm going to go ahead and rotate that one with the 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, which kicks it back to him again. All right, so now I have some stuff to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this one. That lets me open this breach, because that was the last step of that. And I have 3 spells. Oof. So I'm going to use that to focus that breach, which lets me put a spell in there. Okay, and then I'll place that one in there. There's nothing I can do with this one. All right, and then I'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We'll see what happens with that. And Nemesis. So there's one, and it's a card. Place 6 maggots into play, or any player suffers 5 damage. Holy cow. All right, I guess I'm putting 6 maggots into play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to complete this one, which is going to have us hatching 3 flies. And Gravehold's going to take 2. 3 away from losing here. Gotta be careful. All right, player 1. And of course, our players have no spells out. So there's 1, and I have 4 buying power. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for 2. Guess I'll just focus that. Okay. And there's 3, 4, 5. All right, so her turn is done. On to player 2. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that to take out 2 maggots. Well, I think I'm just going to need to clear it. I got to start working my way down on some of these guys here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cast that one in there, and I have 4 buying. So go ahead and buy 2 charges. Yeah. Because I don't have enough for that. All right, and it's player 2 again. All right, so I'm going to deal 1 to him. He's down to 34. Ooh, I forgot to draw cards. So let me take that back real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so now this goes off, and then I have 3, 4, 5, 6 buying power. Be great to be able to do the top ability, which is that an ally gains 2 energy. And the next time an ally gains a card from the supply this turn, you can copy that card from the supply pile. So basically it gives each player 1 of those. But getting rid of that would also be very good, as I can't really afford to take a ton more damage to my players. I could choose to use it as the bottom ability, which gives me 5 ether, which would give me a total of 11 ether to work with. So in that situation, I could still get rid of that and still have 4 to purchase something with. So yeah, I think that is probably going to be the better option. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I still have 4 to purchase. I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these spells, and that'll take care of that. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Nemesis. So it worked out. Otherwise, that would have been firing off right then and there. All right, so we have Vile Breeder. This has got 9 hit points. And in persistence, place a maggot into play. Any player suffers 2 damage. Nasty. All right, and that's it. Player 1. All right, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I definitely want to trigger that ability. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's going to do 5 damage. I'm going to go ahead and hit that for 5. And then it's going to deal 3 damage to the Nemesis because I discarded a card. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and place that one there and that one there. And then I have 2, which I'm just going to go ahead and gain a charge for. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So at least I'll be able to keep some of that going. All right. Find out what happens here. So if she gets to go again, I could take out the breeder before it even has a chance to do anything. Okay. Nope. All right, so first off, he fires off, so he's going to place a maggot into play, and a player suffers 2 damage. Go ahead and take 2 with him. Okay. And then it's a card, so this one has Unleash twice. So 2 and 2. Ho ho! Suffers 5 damage, so it's down to 19. Any player suffers 1 damage and places their most expensive card in hand on the top of their deck. Most expensive card. So he's got a whole collection. Cards. All right, I'm going to put that one on the top of my deck. And he's going to suffer 1 damage, so he's down to 4 now. So I'm 1 point away here. So if the other Nemesis card comes up, it's game over. So I won't even have a shot at it. Okay, player 1. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and deal the 2 damage to take out that guy there. All right, and then I will go ahead and use that to finish him off. And then I can place 1 there, and then I got 3. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. If she could go again, that'd be huge. I could clear off all of that row as well. I don't know if that's going to happen though. I just got to get through whatever that card is. So 2, 4, 7. What to buy? So I could get the big card. It costs 0. That's not super helpful though. So I'm going to buy a charge, and I'm going to get one of these. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, player 2. All right, player 2, what are you doing here? I'm going to go ahead and place that in there. And I've got 3. Focus that breach so I can drop that in there. And that is everything from him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So I just need 1 of my players to go, or if the Nemesis goes, not to unleash. Okay, good. Whew. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fire this one off. And this does an extra damage if it's in a 3 or 4, which it is, so that will clear those 4 off. So at least I bought myself a little bit of time there. All right, and then I have 5 buying power. I think I'm just going to buy 2 more charges. And I'll hold on to this last card because there's nothing else I can do with it right now. All right, and then next turn I'll be able to put some spells out. All right, player 2 also gets to go. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 damage to him, which brings him down to 28. All right, and I do have that, which lets me focus a breach of an ally's. I'll place that in there, and I have 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend 2 to gain this charge. I haven't opened enough yet to really take advantage of this. So I think next turn I'm going to need to do that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And the Nemesis. So let's see what card we have. Unleash twice. Ho, ho, ho. Gravehold's going to suffer 3. All right. And that's going to mean that Gravehold suffers 5 more for that filling up. So it's down to 11. It's going to be close. All right. Player 1. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that in there. And place that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and buy a charge. And there's nothing I can do with that, so I'm going to have to hold on to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to have some more spells I can fire off soon enough, hopefully. And it's player 1 again, so I get to go right away with these. So discard a card in hands. so that I can trigger this. So this is going to deal 5 damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear all that again. And 3 damage to him. 1, 2, 3. So he's down to 25. And then I'm going to go ahead and use that for 2 more damage onto him. So it's putting him down to 23. And I got 2 more powerful spells that are ready to go off. I've got all my charges at this point. 2 purchasing. Nothing else I can do, so I'm going to have to hold onto those. I get those, and okay. So at least I got 1 spell I'll be able to guess next turn. All right, so Nemesis. Spend 7, 3 power. If there are 7 or less total maggot flies and maggots, place 3 and 1 maggot into play. Otherwise, any player suffers 4. Okay. So, not the end of the world if it goes off. At least yet. Alright, player 2. Alright, so I can deal 1 damage or an ally can draw a card. Alright, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really need to open up some breaches here. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that to give myself 5 more. So that's going to give me 10 ether to work with. First off, I'm going to go ahead and use that to do 1. And then I have 10. I'm going to go ahead and open this one up for 4. I could open this for 5, but that would leave me with 1 point left. So I think I'm just going to focus and focus again. That'll cost me 6, so that'll use up all of my ether. And I do have this that I'll place in there. And I'm going to go ahead and use this. This one lets me focus any player's breach. So I'm going to go ahead and focus that one. And any player gains 1 life for each open breach you have. So I have 4. So I'm going to give her 4 back. All right. That was a big turn. I got some big spells coming up here. So we'll see who gets to go next. We have 1 Nemesis card left. And all right, so he's going to go next. And his is the Volcanic Zella. He's persistent Gravehold, suffers 3 damage, or any player loses 2 charges. Oof. Alright. And then it'll be me again. So deal 3 damage. If this was cast from an open 3rd or 4th breach, deal an additional damage. So it's going to deal 4 damage. I'm just going to hit him for 18. Or he's down to 18. And I did cast it from here, so Gravehold is going to gain 1 health back. Alright, and then I do have 1 spell, and then I have 5 purchasing. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend 4 to buy 2 charges. I'm going to keep building up my charges, I think. All right, I will have a couple of spells, so that's good. All right, so no Nemesis here would be great. At least initially. Great if player 1 could go first. Even player 2 does have a little bit, and I can actually cast player 1's spell. Nemesis. All right, so not so lucky. All right, persistent. Nobody has, well, he does have 2 charges, so I could lose 2 charges. Yeah, instead of Gravehold suffering a bunch of damage. And a card. All right, to discard, destroy 4 cards in hand. Oof. Power 1, place 3 flies into play. Any player suffers 3 damage. All right, so things are going to be rough here in a minute. All right, player 2. All right, so player 2, what do you got here? All right, so this one is focus any allies breach or cast any player's prep spell. You may destroy it. Well, first off, I have to cast my own spell. So Gravehold's going to pick up another health. And I'm doing 2 damage. 2 damage. I will go ahead and do 2 onto him. All right, and then, well, I don't have 7 to get rid of that, but I do have, I'm going to go ahead and destroy these 4 cards here. And that will let me get rid of the egg bursts. So at least that's out of the way. And then I do have this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and use that on this here, the Force Amplifier. This is going to deal 3 damage. If this is cast from an open 3 or 4, it does additional damage for 4. And then the Breach also gives me +1 for 5. So I'm going to bring him down to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Player 1. All right, so that's good news. All right. All right, I do have 1 card I'm going to be able to cast this turn. He's got nothing in his breaches. That's not good. All right, so first off, that's going to go off. I'm going to go ahead and discard a card to be able to amplify that. So it's going to do 3 damage to him from that. So he's down to 8 hit points. And I'm going to do 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 to that guy. All right, so that takes care of all that. I can drop that in there. And then I have 3, 4, 5, 6 buying power. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and use that to buy 3 charges. Oh, wait a minute. I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and destroy this one instead to get 3. Instead of doing the charges, I think I'm going to wipe this out. Because that costs 7, so that would just be enough. So this card's gone. That brings me down to those. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh. It's all buying power, so she's not doing much of anything. All right, and it's her again. So first off, she's firing that off. It's going to do 5 damage. So the question is, do I keep working on him? I think I'm going to keep working on him. So that'll bring him down to 3 hit points. And I have 5 purchasing. He doesn't have a charge, so I cannot trigger that. So I'm just going to hold on to that and buy 2 charges. 2, 3, 4, just enough. All right, so I'll be able to get some stuff going hopefully next turn. All right, so first off, this one here, any player can lose 2 charges, so I'll go ahead and do that so I don't take the effects of that. Eternal Watcher, persistent, any player suffers 3 damage. If this minion has 6 or less life, it gains 3 life. All right. And player 2. All right, player 2, again, doesn't have anything at this point, so go ahead and chuck that in there. And then I have 5 purchasing. So I have to hold on to 1, and I'll buy 2 charges. All right, so at least I'll have a spell that I can cast next time. I'm right there. I just got to hold on a little longer. At least I don't have anything that's going to do unleashes at this point. All right. Player 1. All right, so player 1 has nothing at this point. Dropping that in there. Dropping that in there. Now I have... All right, and then he's going to lose 1 charge to give her 2. And she'll buy 1 more with the last 2 points she has. All right. So at this point, when she goes off again, the game is over. Nemesis. All right, so Gravehold suffers 3, or any player loses 2 charges. So I'll lose 2 on her end. Any player suffers 3 damage. I'll take 3 on her. Okay, and they haven't taken any damage yet, so then it's over to this one. It is to discard is 8. It's power 2. Unleash twice. Gravehold suffers 4. Any player destroys the top 4 cards of their deck. Oof. Okay, so really don't want that to go off. Player 2. Deal 1 damage or an ally draws a card. All right, and that's pretty much all I have to work with for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cast that. I'm going to bump Gravehold up by 1 because of the breach. And it's 1 damage. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But I'll do a damage there. I'll go ahead and put that in there. And then I have 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could destroy it for 6. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to destroy it to get me 6. That'll fill me up. I'm going to spend all of those right away. That's going to heal me 4. And there's no breach to focus at this point. All right. Player 1. All right, this is it. Right there. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and discard to do the extra damage. So I'm going to do 5 damage, finishing this guy off. So he's done. And I do 3 damage to the Nemesis, which is going to drop him down to 0. That wins me the game. And I had this one that does 2 damage, so I'll just go ahead and pop off a couple of flies there, or maggots. And that was game. Oof, that was close. There was a couple times there that I was pretty close, so he would have got to go again, and then the Nemesis would have fired off again. Whew, that was brutal. Very, very, very close. Well, I hope you found the video helpful and entertaining. That was a close one. There was a couple of times there where just 1 more unleash would have finished off the game for me as a loss, as I would have filled up that nest mat, but I was able to pull it off. Let me know in the comments down below if you noticed if I did anything wrong. As always, I do my best, but sometimes I do make mistakes. So let me know in the comments down below if you noticed if I did anything wrong, or if there was anything that you would have done differently that might have given me a little bit of a better advantage in making it through this one, maybe a little faster. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the videos and leaving feedback on them. I do really appreciate it and take into account everything you say to make the best possible videos. And until next time, I'll see you later.